Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a joint election between the US and Canada. This will be based on if Donald Trump were the Republican nominee and Justin Trudeau were the Democratic nominee. And it will be based on the 2016 general election in the US and the 2019 federal election in Canada. Let's get started. Starting out, let's look at Canada. So we're just going to go through the provinces and label them as in favor of Trump and for Justin Trudeau. Just a quick note, if you haven't already seen, we do have a little electoral system that I like to use on this channel for different types of election videos where every state, for example, is based on, or every state's electoral votes are based on their population divided by 100,000. So for example, California has 395 electoral votes, whereas Wyoming would have 6. And I've done that also for all the provinces based on their population as well. So now we can actually get started. Starting out in British Columbia. British Columbia went in favor of the Conservatives in the 2019 election in Canada. So it would go to Donald Trump, as would the province of Alberta and Saskatchewan, as well as Manitoba. These are the 4 provinces in Canada that went to the Conservatives in the election. As for Justin Trudeau, he would win in Yukon, he would win in the Northwest Territories, he would win in Nunavut, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, he would also win in Ontario, the biggest province of them all. He would also win here in Quebec and in Nova Scotia, as well as New Brunswick, and as well as Nova Scotia as well, and finally as the Newfoundland and Labrador. So those are the Canadian provinces and how they would go in terms of Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau. As you can see through just looking at the Canadian results, Justin Trudeau holds 257 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 121. Now let's get into the US election map based on how I think it would go in a 2020 election between Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump. Keep in mind that Canada in general is a far more liberal country than the United States is, looking at it in perspective of between countries and their political ideologies. The US is a far more conservative country than Canada and a lot of European countries. So let's go through it. The states that would safely go to Justin Trudeau on the West Coast, obviously California, Washington, and Oregon, as well as Colorado. I do believe New Mexico would go to Justin Trudeau, as well as for Virginia. We have Maryland here, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, as well as Maine would go to Justin Trudeau, as well as Minnesota, obviously, and Illinois. With Minnesota would go by a much larger margin than initially would be anticipated because of its proximity to Canada. As for Donald Trump, let's look at the states that he would hold. Alaska is obviously one of them. Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma, Alaska, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina would go in his favor, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia as well. So that's what the electoral map looks like at this moment in time. Justin Trudeau holds 1,427 to Donald Trump's 701. A very firm and big lead for Justin Trudeau. And I actually completely forgot to fill in New York as well in favor of Justin Trudeau. So now we head to, or as well as Indiana. It's hard to see on this map all the states that I would be missing. So as things stand, 1,622 electoral votes in favor of Justin Trudeau, whereas 768 in favor of Donald Trump. So starting out from left to right, I do believe Justin Trudeau would win in Nevada. I also do believe Donald Trump would actually win in the state of Arizona. I think one thing that should be noticed is that Canadian politicians are in general a lot more liberal than Democratic politicians on the Democratic side. So I do think that Arizona would actually prefer more moderate candidates, and thus I do believe Donald Trump would be able to pull out a narrow margin of victory over Justin Trudeau. I also believe he would win in Texas and in Florida, as well as Georgia, and I think he would win in North Carolina. So just like that, it became extremely close between these two candidates. I also think he would win in Iowa, and I think he would win in Ohio. As for the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, one thing to keep in mind is the close proximity of Wisconsin and Michigan to a Democratic stronghold in the Ontario province in Canada. And for that reason, I do believe that not only that, but obviously with political ideologies in the U.S. as well, I think Wisconsin and Michigan would go to Justin Trudeau. So I do believe New Hampshire would go to Justin Trudeau as well. And really the election would come down to the state of Pennsylvania. And I actually do believe that Donald Trump would be able to carry the state of Pennsylvania against Justin Trudeau and defeat him by an extremely, extremely narrow margin. Forgot about that. I do believe he would win by just 8 electoral votes in this. I do believe he would win by just 8 electoral votes in this system, which is crazy to look at because there are over 3,500 electoral votes in this type of electoral college system, and he wins by just 8. I hope you all enjoyed this sort of format of video. I think it was really interesting to look at the comparisons between Canada and the US in terms of states and electoral votes, how it would all split up. Obviously, Ontario is the biggest electoral batch in Canada, whereas California is the biggest electoral batch in the US. But feel free to let me know what you guys think. If there are any Canadians who are watching this video and want to disagree with my prediction, please feel free to comment in the comment section down below, as well as Americans, of course. As always, feel free to comment any suggestions for future videos that I could do along these sorts of lines. I really like making these kinds of videos on yet another political map simulator. I think it's really fun. It's a fresh thing to do on this channel. I hope you all enjoyed it so much. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content on this channel in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.